In case you missed Paul's comment, I've been struggling with that because it clearly was my mistake to agree to be on this panel in the first place. I said I can't be here. I've got commitments in Tarrant County, but some people kept saying, but we want somebody from the Texas Legislature to talk about that. Okay, it's really bad. It's just terribly bad. And it's been terribly bad for a long, long time. I first got interested in state government back in 1971 when I was in high school and we were in the big middle of the notorious Sharpstown scandal. Well, money has always polluted the process. It's gotten much worse in this century. It's much more threatening to our basic civil liberties. I think you could put on a really solid debate based on what you've heard tonight on whether or not we actually still have a democracy. But I'm supposed to provide a glimmer of hope, Paul? Well, okay. So here's my glimmer of hope. And it was kind of a mistake on my part because, you've got a huge and great panel, and it could have been an all-day seminar with presentations that were presented today. But I asked my chief of staff to come up with something, a slightly different piece of information in the context of, okay, I'm the token state representative from the Texas Legislature here today. And so here's his advice. You may not want to mention too many of these D names, but note that the public pressure has produced quite a few R's, leaving ALEC also. So because of the hour's late, and I think we should entertain questions, I'm not going to read off Representative Allen's Democrat from Houston, or Armando Martinez, or Delana Deuce, or Hubert Bowe, or Harold, in all their comments. But here's the bottom line. Because of activist efforts and because of public exposure, 12 Democrats who were members of ALEC gave these excuses for why they were going to quit. So in April of 2012, directly related to public exposure, a dozen Democrats in the Texas Legislature quit. And because they were dues-paying members or for whatever reasons, the Republicans waited until August of 2012. But I have a page-and-a-half listing of members of the Texas Legislature that could not stand the heat, could not stand the light, because relatively speaking, nobody really knew who ALEC was. So really the only reason I'm here tonight is not to represent that perspective, but it's to thank the people that have taken the time and effort over the past several months for organizing the activities while ALEC's here in Dallas. It can be frustrating because news media are not covering what they should be covering because they never do, they never have, it's only gotten worse. But you've done some really important work. All these panelists have done some really important work. And so, in my dozen years as director of the Dallas Peace Center, we always had this mantra about research, education, action. Okay, you've been exposed to a lot of information. Tomorrow, Faithful Friday, which is the first here in Texas, they got started in North Carolina at noon. People of faith speak out. It's going to be the Pan-African Connection, which is near South Dallas, 828 4th Avenue at 12 noon. I'm listed as a speaker then too, and they have way too many people as speakers. I'm not going to be there. I had a previous commitment. I'm doing community organizing in Fort Worth. I'm glad you all are doing what you're doing here in Dallas. But our basic fundamental civil rights are under assault, and I had a previous planned lunch meeting to talk about what we can do to better protect those civil rights. And so that's what I'll be doing at noon tomorrow. But I hope if you possibly can, you'll go to the first in Texas Faithful Friday. They have had a tremendous impact in North Carolina in pushing back on an extremely right-wing governor, one whom I think is going to be replaced in part because of that constant effort of people like you fight back, save our democracy. Thank you for being here tonight.